Alright, here we are with our pine shaving bin. It has been a month since our last update here, so you can see right here on the side, it shows 11/17, and it is December 17th, so we're going to have to see how this is doing here. And we're going to take off this first one right here. Just taking a look real quick. It's a little bit dry on the bottoms here. And as you can see, it looks like this one has quite a bit stuck on it, but that's alright. That's very normal. I don't see any worms on there when we looked. Now, I just want to point out here, it is getting towards winter, and you are starting to see that there's a ring around here. And that is because it is drying out anywhere where the moisture can leak out, because there's not a lot of moisture in the air here. So, let me get my glove on. We can take a look at this and see how this is doing. I'm not seeing any activity. I see one worm right here, but I'm not seeing any bug activity on the top. I'm not seeing any mites or anything right now as I look around all through here. But let's just kind of take a look. Actually, let's poke in this corner right here first. So you can see there's a lot of dry material on the top here. We're just going to move that off to the side right now. Oop, there's a worm in there actually. We're just going to take it. And then we fed on this side too. That's why we've got the sticker that was on this side where they had the date. So you can see this. You can still see that this looks like wood chips. I mean, this material is holding up really, really well. And you can see there's another worm in here. I just want to try to dig into just this corner right now. Let's just see how it looks at the bottom here. So as you can see, we still have some food, it looks like, possibly left in here. But as we get a little bit deeper, there's more castings, more moisture, and oh, look at that, even a whole bunch of worms right here in these coffee grounds. As you can see, they're still working on these, surprisingly. I'm going to put that right back in that corner. But there's a whole bunch of worms in here working on those coffee grounds. So they are going to find the food, but it's taking them a little bit of time. I mean, they've had this for a month now, which is kind of surprising. And I think last time somebody said I should add coffee grounds because it can kind of heat up a little bit and get this to break down a little faster. You kind of get a little bit of that nitrogen action going. Now here we go. Here's a smaller worm. This one's not an adult. This is a juvenile worm right here. So that means that there's a good mixture in this bin. Let's just see if we find anything else in here on this side. As I said, we did feed last time over here. Just digging in this corner. It was a little bit dry, but overall it looks like the rest of the stuff might be gone. Let's put that back over here. Let's dig a little bit further over. Again, more worms over here. Feels a little bit more muddy. I think we've got a piece of a banana peel that's left that they're working on right here. I'll drop that back down in there. There's some more worms actually over here on the side. So they're working in here on some of that food. Let's see if I can dig in a little bit more. It feels much more sticky than I think it has in the past. Not seeing any cocoons, but overall this feels pretty good for material. It's definitely not too wet, and it doesn't look too dry. It crumbles apart because it's the wood shavings. They're really good about being able to flake apart like this no matter what until they break down. And they're taking a long time to break these down. So if you were looking to make castings, this might actually be a really good solution for you. These are, of course, the pine shavings. You can see right here in the center here. Got some bigger worms over here in the center. No food over here though. But there are some worms. So overall, this looks pretty good. They're moving through all the different areas. We're just going to turn it all over now. Just make sure it's all looking okay. More worms than I expected, actually. No food here on this side. Some worms over here still. They're actually spread out through the bin a little bit. This side's really dry right here in this bottom corner. You can hear it. You can see how dry it is, the different coloring. So overall, not as many worms on this side, but there's still worms over here, surprisingly. I'm really surprised. I thought that they'd be sort of all migrated over here to the section with the food, but they're not. I mean, you can still see, like I'm just opening up a handful right there, and there's one worm in the center. Even though over here it's pretty dry. So again, dry castings, or wood chips. Still see the worms in there. So overall, this is looking fairly good. It's still usable material as far as for bedding. I don't need to add any more bedding or anything like that. We do need to probably add some more moisture to it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a feeding on this of the opposite side this time. Just move some of these worms out of the way here because we are going to add frozen food, as I always do. Frozen food typically does not have the creatures that might be in otherwise would be there if you didn't freeze it or heat it up. You could do either. I'm just going to grab my sticker here with the date and put it right over here. So here's my 12/17/21. I'm just going to put it on this side over here. So that way it mimics what we did on this side. And that way we know where the last feeding was. I'll take off that last sticker. And now we're going to add some food. We're going to add quite a bit of food this time. Kind of a variety of food. Again, I'm going to grab one of my big containers that I've got here. I'm trying to go through these a little bit more frequently, but haven't been really, so I really need to add a lot of food to this, but we're going to see what we can add. So we're going to add an apple core, orange peel, or clementine peel. I do have some citrus in here. I don't think I'm going to add that really as far as the full lemons that just went bad, but I will add banana, and we will again add, if I grab it here, some coffee grounds with a banana on it, and it looks like there's a piece of pepper on that side. And got some more clementine peels right there. Let's just see here. A little bit more banana and some more coffee grounds. So this is a decent sized feeding. It's not real big. You know, I'm not adding a huge amount, but it's not small either. And that way they have something to work on in this system as they finish off the coffee grounds over there. I'm going to break up these coffee grounds a little bit, try to spread them out. I'm really, because they're keeping them in these things. I sometimes feel like these paper filters act as a barrier and then things can't get into them. I'm just going to spread those out a little bit. Just kind of mix some of this in underneath, which I probably should have had a little bit in there. And the worms won't be in there, but that's okay. And then what we're going to do, actually, before I do that, let me add a little bit more of my crushed egg and crab shell on here. And I'll link up top on how to create this stuff. But idea being, you know, just make sure that they have the grit that they need. And then we're going to just cover this back up. We're going to cover it up pretty deep because we want to make sure that stuff does not get its way in there. Feels like it could be a piece of food there. So now we have it. On this side was our last feeding. And over here we're okay. Now, I'm really mixed. It doesn't seem like it's too dry in the center, but I think I am going to add just a bit of water. Not a whole lot. I'm going to add a little bit over the food. I know the food's going to add a little bit of water to this, but I would like to have a little bit more in here because it is going to evaporate very quickly this time of year. So there we go. Just one of these containers right here with water in it, just to kind of get a little bit of extra water in that system. And now we're going to put our plastic back on top here. And I think we're done with this for today. So overall, the system is still working well. I probably should have checked on it a little bit sooner, but then again, it still didn't look too bad. I mean, they still had a little bit of food left in there. They sort of slowed down, but it's also a little bit cooler in my basement now this time of year. So they're still working on this, and we'll let them and see how long they can go. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching.